Hi everyone, welcome to the Coding Zoo. This is lesson number 10. In today's lesson, we are going to add a little more style to your banner, give it a little shadow, a little depth. We are also going to show you how to compress your web folder and zip it up and send it to us at the Coding Zoo. So if that's something you'd like to do, you can. If you don't want to, that's also fine too. But if at the end of this lesson, you should be able to zip your file up and email it to us, and we'll put it out on the web so your friends and family can see it. So hopefully some of you would like to do that. I hope that's a benefit for you. So we wanted to thank you for going through these 10 lessons with us. There's going to be many more to come. We hope you're enjoying it. We'd love to get your feedback. So definitely leave us comments. Let us know if you're liking it or if you think we can improve. We'd love to hear that. Don't forget there's a subscribe button over here. Again, I always forget. I have to get this straight one of these days. Or maybe there's one over here in this direction. I forget. But if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead. Is it that way? Go ahead and click subscribe. If you like this video, go ahead and like it. And if you want alerts on when new videos come out, you can actually click on the bell icon too. So, are you ready to get started, buddy?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's do it. Hi everyone, welcome to the Coding Zoo. This is Shane, and I have my son Nicholas with me.
Hello.
And I also have my daughter Jai with me.
Hi.
So this is the 10th lesson in the HTML Coding Zoo series. This lesson should be a pretty quick lesson. We're going to make a couple of small changes, and then I'm going to show you how to prepare your files to upload to the Coding Zoo. Of course, do remember that uploading the files to the Coding Zoo, that's totally up to you. It's optional. You don't have to do that, but I would highly recommend it. You can have your own little place in the Coding Zoo, and each milestone in our lessons, you'll be able to upload your progress and show your friends and family. So definitely recommend that you do so, but not required. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind you, to go ahead and click the subscribe button and that bell. The bell will let you know when our next videos come out. Also, be sure to check out our other series on CSS. It goes into more details on some of the CSS we're doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's open up our Coding Zoo folder. I'm going to double click on Coding Zoo. Right click on index.html. And I'm going to choose Edit with Notepad++. Okay, so we have Notepad++ open. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and link a external style sheet. So up to this point, we've been doing styles where, guys? Do you know? Well, you can point at the monitor, but I'm afraid the people on YouTube won't hear you, darling. So where have we been putting style properties at, Jay?
Between the style tags.
In between the style tags and the header, and we started out originally putting them on the element itself. Do you remember what that's called? It's called an inline style. So far we've been doing style properties two ways. We've been doing inline styles by putting a style attribute on an element, and we've recently created a style section in our header, or rather in our head of the document, and we've started putting styles there. So those are two ways you can do styles. I wouldn't recommend those two for a big project. I would not recommend those two ways for a big project, but I wanted you to be aware of them in case you wanted to use them at certain times. The best way for handling styles, style classes and properties are to put them into an external style sheet. Let's go ahead and add that. So we've got a notepad open. Before we link to the external style sheet, let's go create that style sheet. So go back to your folder. We should have a CSS folder there that we created in our first few lessons. Double click on the CSS folder. If you don't have one, go ahead and create it. And inside of that folder, let's create a new text document. So I'm going to right click, choose new, and I'm going to choose text document. And I'm going to rename that document to styles, STYLES .css. And be sure to use lowercase. Again, STYLES .css. So now my file is called style.css. Be sure there's no text or txt on the end of that name. Windows may say, do you want to change the file extension or not? Just choose yes if it does. If it doesn't say that, then you probably still have txt on the end of the file, and you shouldn't do that. You should get rid of it. Okay, so now I have a styles.css document. Let's go back to our Notepad++. And we talked about in one of our first couple of lessons that we link to style sheets in our head of the document. So the head contains metadata around our document, including the styles or the link to the style sheets. So I'm going to go to underneath my title in the head. I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to put my link right there on that line. The link is ~, LINK, space, and REL equals, double quote, and then the word style sheet, STYLESHEET, and then in the double quote. So I have link RE and space REL equals, double quote, style sheet. That's STYLESHEET, all one word, in double quote. All right, so we have link, and then we have REL, attribute equals to style sheet. REL stands for relationship. So basically this attribute is defining the relationship of the file that we're fixing to link. So the file we're fixing to link is a style sheet of this file. All right, so after the last double quote, press space, type TYPE equals. So we have the type attribute equals, double quote, TEXT, and we need to put a /. So / is leaning towards the right, and then CSS, and then in double quote. So I have type TYPE equals, double quote, the word text TEXT, a /, which is leaning to the right. That's your other right, Jay.
I know.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. And then we have CSS, and then in double quote. Okay, so of course the type attribute on the link tag defines what kind of file is being linked, or what kind of resource is being linked. All right, next we want to add one more attribute, and this is href. So we've used the href tag before in our previous lessons, guys. Do you know where we used it at before? What element did we use it on before?
On the anchor tag.
The anchor tag, that's right. We used it on the anchor tag. The anchor tag we used to create a link to another document. So if you clicked on it, it would take you to a different document. That's correct. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and type our href tag. So type the attribute right after the type equals text CSS, in double quote, put a space, href equals, double quote. So that's href equals, double quote, type CSS, which is our folder. Make sure your folder is in lowercase. Make sure you type it in lowercase. Put a /, which is a slash leaning towards the right, and then styles.css, STYLES.css, and then in your double quotes, and of course that's the name of the file. And now put a > sign to in that tag, and choose File and Save. Okay, so let's go back to our folder system. Go in the CSS subfolder if you're not already there. And let's right click on that file, styles.css, and choose edit with Notepad++ or whatever editor you're using. And now you should see an empty file in your Notepad++. All right, I see two tabs in my Notepad++. I see the index.html file and the styles.css. All right, so I'm going to click back over to my index.html file. Now, inside of the HTML file, in our previous lesson, we added the style section. So I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to highlight that entire style selection. So I'm going to left click on the right side of the element style. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to highlight that entire section by holding my left mouse button down and moving my mouse to highlight it. And then once I have it highlighted, I'm then going to move my cursor on top of that highlighted text. I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose cut. So I basically just cut that entire style section. Now I'm going to move over to my second tab, Styles CSS, and I'm going to paste what I just cut from the previous document. Okay, so now I have that entire section in my new styles.css file. I'm going to go ahead and remove the style beginning tag, and I'm going to remove the style ending tag. Because we're in a styles.css file, we don't need to define a style section. The whole document is all about styles. So no need to have a styles element. Okay, so now choose File and Save. Want to make sure that both of those documents are saved. So make sure you do File and Save on both of them. In Notepad++, you'll see an icon for one disk and then a floppy disk. And then next to that, an icon for two floppy disks. If you click on the multiple floppy disk icon, it will save all your files. All right, so we've saved those two documents. We've successfully moved the style section from the head of our HTML index file, our index.html file, and we've moved it to an external style sheet. That external style sheet is linked by this link element, and that style sheet exists in your CSS folder. Let's go ahead and go back to the folder system, go to the Coding Zoo folder, and let's right click and on index.html, and let's open with browser, Google Chrome. All right, so when you open it up, your file should look exactly the way it did before. If it does not, if you lost all your color and all your positioning, all that good stuff, then you've followed one of the steps incorrectly. You want to go back and try that again. How's it look, guys?
Good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and make one more change to our document. We're going to change the header a little bit, make it just a little bit prettier. And then I'm going to give you instructions on how to basically package up your Coding Zoo folder so you can email it to me. Let's go back to our Notepad++. Click on the styles.css tab. You should be on the styles tab. Go to your header class. We added a header class there. Go to the bottom of that class. To the semicolon next to hidden on the overflow property. To the right of that semicolon, put your cursor, press enter to go to a new line. Now we're going to type in a property called box-shadow. Box shadow. It's going to be a long one, so let's type that real slowly. I'll explain what it does when we're done. So type in BOX-SHADOW space 0 space 2 pixel PX space 5 PX space 0 space type in the letter R, G, B, A. Now type an open parentheses. Now when I typed the open parentheses in Notepad++, it added the end parentheses also. So inside that parentheses, I'm going to type 0, comma, 0, comma, 0, comma, one more 0, and then a decimal. So 0.16. So the last number is comma 0.16. And then I want you to step outside of that parentheses, move your cursor to the right of that parentheses. So now you're outside of the RGBA 000.16. Press comma, type in 0, type in 2px, type in 0 space 2px space 10px space 0 space R, G, B, A, beginning parentheses, and then Notepad++ created my end parentheses, got my cursor in the middle, type in 0, comma, 0, comma, 0, comma, 0, dot, 1, 2, end parentheses, and semicolon. So just to be safe, it's quite a bit to type. I'm going to read it back to you. So we have box, B-O-X, dash, shadow, colon, space, 0, space, 2px for 2 pixel, space, 5px for 5 pixel, space, 0, space, R, G, B as in boy, A, and then in parentheses, I have 0, comma, 0, comma, 0, comma, 0.16. And then basically after that, we have a comma, and we have 0, space, 2 pixel, space, 10 pixel, space, 0, space, RGBA, and in parentheses, we have 0, comma, 0, comma, 0, comma, 0.12. We end the parentheses, and we have a semicolon. So oh boy, that's long-winded. All right, you guys got that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so click your icon for saving and go back to your browser. You should have it already open. Don't click refresh yet. You got your browsers open, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so look at the header here. So the header, my header's black, and then below that's the body. It's a different color, right? It's just a plain black square. So I'm going to click refresh. I'm going to click refresh. You see that, Nicholas?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what happens when I click refresh. Okay, so do you see the difference, Nicholas? It's kind of got a 3D look. It added a shadow to the bottom. See how there's a black shadow? So go ahead and click File and Save on yours and click Refresh and see if you get the shadow. Let me know if you don't get the shadow. Did you get it, Jai?
Yeah.
Nicholas?
Yeah.
Nicholas says yeah, but he's shaking his head no. Hang on, Nicholas. Let me come look at it. Okay, so Nicholas forgot to type a 0 and had PX in the wrong space. So that's a very long property to type. So, if you have to pause the video and look at my screen to make sure you get it right, go ahead and do so. Once you have that, save it, click refresh, and your banner should have a more 3D look. It's going to have a little shadow at the bottom of your banner. And you can tweak this CSS to make it darker or wider or even a different color. So we'll go over the box shadow properties in detail in our CSS lessons, but basically all of those numbers relate kind of a horizontal offset or vertical offset. It tells how much to blur something, it tells what color, etc. So it's basically defining that whole line and it's giving coordinates it's giving horizontal coordinates and vertical coordinates of where to draw the line, the shadow. We've now got this nice little shadow. The banner looks a little more 3D. Looks pretty good. Looks okay. Does it really look okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, so that's it. So I'm going to show you how to zip up your files real quick, and then you would email it to me. If you want to add it to the coding zoo, we'll add it to the coding zoo. Email the files once we zip them up to Anthony, ANTHONY .Shane, SHANE .Crouch, CROUCH @gmail.com. We'll put that on the screen for you there so you can see it. Once we zip it up, email it to me, and I'll put it on the coding zoo and shoot you a note back letting you know when it's up. Okay, so before you zip this up, I would recommend you do one more thing. Kind of pause the video and just take your time. Feel free to go to your sections. Like I have favorite anime, favorite book series. I don't know exactly what sections you created, but feel free to go there and add as much information as you would like to share to your friends or family. Like for favorite anime, I might go in here. I've only got 3 entries. I may add like 5 or 6 entries because I have a few more favorite anime that I like for other people to try out. So I'm going to make this section a little bit longer. I'm going to add probably 3 or 4 more entries. And I'm going to do the same for the book series section. So that'd be a good, kind of exercise for you before you zip it up. Go ahead and, add more sections or add to the sections you already have, and then save it and make sure everything looks good. And once you're done with that, then you can go ahead and zip it up and send it to me. How's that sound, guys?
Good.
Good? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how to zip it up. So if you're in Windows, you go to your folder system, back to your folders. Right now, I'm in the Coding Zoo folder here. I'm going to go to the folder above Coding Zoo. So I'm going to go to my desktop because I have Coding Zoo on my desktop. Okay, so I'm looking at my desktop folder, and I've got the subfolder Coding Zoo. I'm going to right-click on the Coding Zoo folder. I'm going to go to Send to, and then I should see an option for, there we go, Compressed Zip Folder. So I'm going to send to Compressed Zip Folder. And that just zipped up that folder, made a copy of it, and zipped it up and put it into a file called codingzoo.zip. So this is the file that you would email to me, that you would attach in your email and send to me. Now, do not hesitate to contact me at that email address if you have problems doing this, or if you're not quite sure how to send it to me in email. Just go ahead and shoot me an email or leave a message below. Let me know you need help, and I'll get back to you. I'll be glad to help you. Okay, so we went ahead and we moved our style sections to an external style sheet. We added a nice little 3D effect to our banner, put a little shadow underneath it, and we've zipped up our folder and gotten it ready to email to the Coding Zoo. So that's awesome. Again, if you want to unzip your folder or delete that zip file and go ahead and zip it up later so you can add more information to your HTML files, go ahead and do that. Feel free to put as much information as you would like to in those sections on your index file. Basically make it your page. Put what you would like to put there in those sections, and then zip it up and send it to us. We'd love to put it in the zoo. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get our pages out there, guys. What do you think? Pretty cool?
Yes.
We can show our friends and family. Awesome. Right, Jai?
Yes.
Cool. So thanks for joining, everybody. This is our 10th lesson. This is our first big milestone. We're going to go ahead and put our web pages out there. I hope you enjoyed the lesson so far. There's going to be more to come. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Be sure to hit subscribe, and be sure to click on the bell so you'll get notifications of future lessons. Again, contact me if you need any help zipping that up and sending it to me. I'd be glad to help. We're glad you could join us. We've enjoyed learning together. I hope you've enjoyed the lessons. We're going to have many more to come. and we're going to have a new milestone defined for you soon so we can do another upload later to the Coding Zoo. You guys ready to go?
Yes.
All right. We'll see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Come on. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's go. Hey-oh. Let's go. Let's go. Go ahead, sneeze. Come on, sneeze.
I lost it.
Here.
I lost it.
You'll probably sneeze right in the middle of the video. That's what will happen. All right. Scoot up, buddy. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Coding Zoo. This is lesson number 10. So that's very loud. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeehaw.
More pristine. And we're also going to go over how my light just went out. I don't know why my light just went out. But that's okay, because we're going to continue. Yes.
Oh!
Yes, we're going to continue.